Hello, everyone. I'm Chester44, also known as Fly, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. Last episode, we, had to deal with one or two things running back and forth to deal with our stronghold, and currently, Adair is speaking with, someone who is having problems with the war and everything. So he's not going to be with us for a couple of days. Fortunately, we still have Palagina with us, so she'll be able to help us out here as we continue on with quests. Which should be nice. She's interesting enough on her own. We also helped out Aloth with his little thing. Had him speak with someone here about awakenings, and learned a bit more about Isilmir. I gave my own opinion on that whole situation and how interesting and fascinating I found it in the last episode, so do take a look. It's a very interesting thing. But anyway, now that we've done that, we need to go into the Sanitarium and find... Who was it? Let's see. Caedmon Azo. Because the people here are a bit agitated. Although there is some people here.
That's settled.
Oh, what's this? North Ward patient record. Batixa, the Pale Lady. Subject is female, mid-40s, awakened to a past life as a serial murderer, which now frequently emerges as the soul's dominant personality. Subject vacillates between violence and severe depression resulting from guilt of past deeds. Weak candidate for present research. Graham. Subject is a male, approximately early 30s. Powers of speech absent, presumably as a result of the overfragmentation of his soul. As such, he is the ideal subject for present research. However, experimentation has caused severe pain and induced panic, and I have had to enlist the aid of the guards in transporting him for more recent procedures. Oh no. The Midnight Man. Idelman. Subject is male, mid-20s, displays acute dissociation and paranoid delusional tendencies, causing anger and extreme violence. Dangers of working with the subject preclude possibility of further use in present research. And Ustgrim. Subject is a male approximately 17 years of age. Admitted for episodes of catatonia, followed by occasional violent outbursts. Initial analysis of soul revealed severe fragmentation and essence deficiency. Said deficiency all but eliminates the possibility of utilizing the subject in present research. Oh dear. Caedmon Azo was absent from his office, and he's evidently been running some secret experiments. I should take this up with the head warden. Whether this is connected to the Letting Key's operations remains to be seen. And we've got a note from Azo. Ripley, I require more copper tubing for my next experiment. Do not requisition it from the Sanitarium stores. I don't have time to deal with the head warden's inevitable questions. Caedmon Azo. Oh dear.
Well met, friend.
A young Orlan woman traces her fingers along the spines of the books in front of her, row by row, her motions quick and skittish like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh, my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Oh, me? I'm just Master Azo's assistant. But there's a visiting scholar from Revua here named Belisage. She claims to know about them. Are you the animancer who's been buying relics from Immortal? I'm not an animancer, so no, but I do know that most of those relics are stolen from ruins in Glanfath. Selling them is illegal. What do you do here? I mostly help Master Azo set up and clean his equipment. I also keep his office organized since he's too busy to do it himself. Okay, then. I don't think there's gonna be anything in here. No. Okay. We need to go tell the head warden there that Caedmon Azo is doing things that he shouldn't be. I am very concerned about these experiments he's doing. I don't know what they are, but it's probably not something that should be done.
Gods keep you.
Let's see. I found records that Azo may be running some questionable experiments. Experiments? Caedmon Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Caedmon. I had hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient wards. I am granting you immediate access so that you can find him. No doubt you'll wish to speak with him further on the matter. And I, for one, am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask also that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Let's see. Azur's own records show that he sometimes forced patients to undergo experiments even when they were unwilling. One patient from the North Ward, Graham, was a frequent test subject. Graham may be able to shed light on whether Azur has been working with the leaden key. Okay, well then. Let's go in there and see what we can find. Do some looking around, see what we can find. And try not to piss people off too much. Alright, let's head up. Let the guards know we wish to speak. The head warden says you can go in. Be careful in there. Flesh constructs? Their families leave them in this place? A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy hair draped over her large eyes like vines. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Then, noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope. What do you know about this animancer, Azo? Oh, I like him very much. Many animancers could care less about their patients. Look at us like vermin for their experiments. But Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened to Azo? Frail's eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers to just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Deerwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash, even if he was a bit of a showman. He loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work, suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me that he had figured out a way to create a soul. And not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Andra's gift? No, tell me. They call them buoys, because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. Oh, these are mad times. Anyway, Master Azo had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard. And he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. Oh dear. Do you know where I might find Azo? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Have any of the patients here been acting unusually? Well, there's Batixa, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idelman, who they say only has half a soul and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. Different from their normal behavior, I mean. Oh, well, yes, I suppose. But nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Azo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. Seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one. Would I be able to visit the North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor, just Master Azo. You might ask him. He's very sympathetic. Why are you in here? Behind her hair, her cheeks flush. I don't want to say. You'll think less of me. I'm listening. These last few years haven't been kind to me. They haven't been kind to anyone, really. I try not to think of it as personal. I lost my husband and both boys in the Saints' War. My daughter, the legacy took her before she was ever mine. I made do. What else can you do? I moved into a tiny place in Andra's gift, got by mending clothes and on the kindness of strangers when I had to. But I was surviving, and the gods were watching over me. I could live with that. Then one day this noblewoman comes in, wants this fancy gown fixed. Gorgeous thing, this shade of blue I'd never seen before. Only I had. I looked at it, and it reminded me of something. I had what they call an awakening. I remembered being a noblewoman myself in another life. People doting over me. Men doting over me. Me! The best food, the most beautiful home, all the things you'd never dare to dream of. They were mine. It was poison knowing that. All those things I had that I'll never have in this life. It did something to me. My food started to taste rotten. The walls in my little room seemed to close in around me. I stopped being able to sleep in my own bed. So I came here. It was that or break into an estate and start ordering servants around. Seems like such a silly thing to worry about. You don't have to tell me, but I can't get past it. I start to wonder, did the gods ever choose this life for me? And if so, what terrible thing must I have done to deserve it? Maybe you'll get there again one day. If not in this life, then in another. The strange part is, I think even the best wouldn't be good enough for me anymore. I think it must have gotten to that point when I was that noble lady. Farewell, then. Okay, so we're not going to be able to go into the North Ward. Crooked chalk tally marks cover the surface of this table. The crooked boards show deep gouge marks. They're spaced like folk or elven fingernails. Ugh. Okay, so it shares a wall with his office, and his office is there. So let's take a look elsewhere and see what we can find. The construct turns its head toward you and watches warily. Sanitarium guard. Keep your distance. What's in that cell back there? We've had incidents when people got close. Wicks, I mean. Okay. Not gonna steal things. We can take regular things. Just no stealing. So there's wicks in here. Unfortunately, it seems we can't open that cell. Can loot something here. Couple lockpicks. Okay, that's nice. Another flesh construct here. That probably leads to the North Wards. Or North Ward. North Ward, North Wards. Point is, the place we're supposed to go that we can't get to. More patients. Oh! Oh, hello. Oh. Drugs. I don't need drugs. Another patient there. Patient there. Very small cells here. Oh, my concerns are still present here. Okay. That leads over there, so this must be his laboratory. Let me drop a save just in case this conversation goes poorly. Alright, let's head in here. Let's see. Something churns and bubbles in this tank. The copper wires and conduits are shiny. The device is warm to the touch.
Test. That's settled.
Ooh. Ravenwing, a unique one-handed mace. A very good one, too. Damage resistance, bypass, accuracy when attacking the same target as an ally, and damage. And more damage. Oh, this is a very good mace. Pity nobody uses it.
A simple test. That's settled.
Anything good in this one? We've got Blade Golem. Lower stun and knockdown duration, extra defense when stunned or prone, and fine. It's a thing. Don't care for it that much. The copper wires and conduits are shiny. The device is warm to the touch. Something churns and bubbles in this tank. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly by his pointed nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls. You joker.
What is the meaning of this?
Let's see. Ethelmore told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. I heard you were demoted. How did it happen? Azur's nostrils flare and he bares his upper teeth more broadly. That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Ardmer? That smug weasel. Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know how. I'll never know. He spits on the floor as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. Ethelmore told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ethelmore hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved to an inanimate object, so I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If Animancers all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Riad Ceres. We would know nothing about life or death, or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. Animancers must push the boundaries of knowledge, but you must be careful, Azo. Even Defiance Bay isn't as safe for research as it once was. Surely there are other paths that don't involve risking lives.
Indeed. Many lives have been spent in such pursuits, writing treatises and poems. But tell me this, how does one verify the truth of a poem? If some philosopher stumbled across the meaning of our existence, how would we know it from a false one? These are wasted lives. In Animancy there is progress. We are measurably closer to complete understanding because of our work. And that will be true until our work is complete. Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an Animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Unless the solution happens to fall outside of Animancy. Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it. Now that Ethelmare's involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients, and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. I'd like access to the North Ward. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. I've seen your records. I know what you're doing with them.
Those are private. You have no right.
He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you.
Got it.
Well, we have the key, so we can now get into the North Ward. Let's head over there. Alright. We'll drop down another save before we try going into here. Alright, unlock with the key. Let's take a look here. Is this my face? Tell me. This is not my face. That is not who we are supposed to be looking for. Can't speak to that door, or that door. Thundering sky, rain of blood, innocence must drown. This man has the look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him farther away from you. He cries out, a bizarre, primal utterance like nothing you have heard. I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern if indeed they are words at all. Aloth makes a noise of disgust. Those Animancers did this to him. You can see what comes of their meddling. I have a perception option. Give me a moment. Let me see. One of the types of food I have here. Might boost perception. No. I don't want any of the drugs. That's Constitution. Damage reduction. That's drugs. Move speed. There we go. A vegetable. Alright, so if I eat one of these,
Eh?
I should have enough perception. Alright, put the rest of those back in. You're afraid. Do certain visitors make you afraid? He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so, for the first time you can perceive his soul within your ken. It is misshapen, as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gouged out entirely. You feel no barriers of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Peer into it. You project out toward the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You're in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else. In your mind is a single word, and the word is no, but it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness, you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work, and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob, and you feel yourself begin to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming a scream you can barely hear. Continue searching. Another night. Heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. You look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away, and leaves. Decouple from Graham's soul. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. As you regain awareness of what's happening around you, you realize that your head is in Palagina's feathered hands. Her golden eyes are peering into your own, as though she is trying to catch a glimpse of activity lurking in the depths. As she sees your eyes respond, she wobbles your head a little and gives you a light slap. Letting go and stepping back, she regards you with concern. Everything going all right in there?
Sure.
There's a patient at the end of the hall to speak to.
These poor people.
Oh.
This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets.
It is not.
Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
I doubt the wealthier citizens have the same experience. I'm sure they have their share of family members they'd rather forget. But if all were treated like this, the sanitarium would never survive. What do these patients do to warrant such conditions? There are just as many who come here and are cured of their ills, people who would otherwise be cast aside. I hope so. You're probably right, it's just hard to see. Let's be on our way, this place gnaws at the soul. Indeed. And I feel like as soon as we talk here, things are gonna get rough. or at least something is going to happen. We might be about to be in a big mission or something. So I'm going to end this episode here. Not the stream, just the episode. Next episode, we'll speak to the door at the end of the hall and see what we end up finding here. Hopefully things don't go too horribly. But that'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is Laniara, Palagina, Dorance, Aloth, Kana, and Sagani. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time.